Hello and welcome to episode 13 of Taste Then Drink single site series on this aggressively cold afternoon in Kaipo in the Adelaide Hills. In this episode we're going to be looking at a single site of Premier Cru status in Puligny Montrachet. A 2017 Domaine Alain Chavy Puligny Montrachet Premier Cru Le Clavoillons. Now, Puligny Montrachet are known for producing white wines made with Chardonnay of the utmost precision, in particular with a floral bouquet and a steely backbone. Now, it's home to the greatest white wine vineyard in the world, Montrachet, and also the connoisseur's pick for the greatest white wine vineyard in the world, Chavy Montrachet. Now, below both of these is Bâtard Montrachet. And if we look at it in three tiers, Chavy Montrachet up the top produces very sort of bright and lifted and very floral wines. Montrachet is a balance with quite a good amount of breadth and also florals. And then below Montrachet is Bâtard Montrachet. Now, it's got the greatest mouthfeel in terms of density, sometimes described as foursquare, which leaves us sort of a feeling of sort of numbness and nondescript shape. Now, working across from Bâtard and Montrachet, the Premier Cru vineyards of Puligny Montrachet make their way up to Meursault. Now, if we work our way across from Montrachet, it goes to La Demoiselle, Le Carré, Folletière. But if we drop a vineyard down from Montrachet to Bâtard Montrachet, we work across. So we go to Le Pucelle, which we've tasted before, which is a remarkable vineyard, and in its own right, probably one of the most special white wine vineyards in the world, and it's only a Premier Cru status. And then as the slope comes around, so Bâtard Montrachet starts to come in to the west, we get Pucelle, and then at the peak of the wave shape into the hill is a vineyard, Le Clavoillons. Now, there's only three main owners of Le Clavoillons: Alain Chavy, his brother, Jean-Louis Chavy, and Domaine, the world famous Domaine. Now, if we look at the soil structure, there's quite a bit of clay in Bâtard. In Pucelle, it cleans up and a little bit less clay and produces wines of quite, a note with sort of floral and persistence and energy. And then Clavoillons is below Folletière. And Folletière has a very thin topsoil. Now, most of that topsoil is eroded down to Clavoillons. So Clavoillons has a relatively deep soil that consists of quite a bit of clay. Now, it's got a perfect, almost due east aspect. It's in the mid-slope, so it's ideally sited. The heaviest soils, what they do is they probably take away from a bit of the drive. Now, the characteristics of Clavoillons are, let's have a smell, this light-footed airiness. Yet there's also a flatness to the wine at the same time. It's bizarre, because usually when we talk about airiness, it's Corton Charlemagne or Chablis Grand Cru or Premier Cru, which has this sort of airiness and sort of also this sort of energetic sort of tension on your jaw. Whereas here we're tasting this sort of this lightness and this airiness, but we're also seeing sort of, quite sort of flat, beautifully defined sort of orchard fruits and stone fruit. So it's, the only rule in Burgundy is the exception. And I suppose when explaining airy wines, this is it. But there's just this incredible purity. And it's really quite special. It keeps you going back for more. It's pretty beautiful on the nose. Now, let's have a go on the palate. On the palate, it is like a mini Bâtard Montrachet. Like I was saying before with the Bâtard, it's got this beautiful sort of phenolic sort of viscosity that sort of sits across the whole of the mouth. in a four-square sort of way where it's nondescript and not angular, but light at the same time, as well as viscous and phenolic. It's quite hard to explain unless you are drinking it. But it just leaves this beautiful, just phenolic structure, and that's the hallmark. So the hallmark to Clavoillons, and tasting quite a few from all three producers, Domaine, Jean-Louis Chavy and Alain Chavy, is this airiness, yet this sort of beautiful sort of flat fruit. I know that sounds silly and it doesn't make sense, but it will once you smell it. And then a mini batter sort of viscosity and phenolic sort of mouth coating sort of sensation. And it has length without the sort of the drive and maybe necessarily the steely backbone that a lot of Puligny Montrachet 1er crew is known for. It's got drive through phenolics. Now, I hope this hasn't confused anyone, and if it has, the best thing to do is to drink a bottle of Clavoillons. Until next time, actually I should address, next week we are going to start how to taste and drink. So we'll be looking at 6 wines over 6 weeks, and I will take you through the process that I taste a wine when looking to either import or consume or drink, and we'll add in a couple of fun tips on how to fully enjoy a bottle or two. So until then, have a great week, and I will see you soon.